the recording is on. Super. Let me start sharing my screen. Okay, let's go back. It's on. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it now.
Excellent. That's great. Okay, so welcome everyone to the first virtual session of many to come of the new Trailblazer Community Group BlockCHAIN Blazers. So this is the first session called New Kids on the Blockchain. So my name is Tiffany. I'm a solution lead and BA at DWS, which is the asset management arm of Deutsche Bank. I'm also, as you know, the community leader for BlockCHAIN Blazers. So just to give you an overview of the agenda, it's going to be a bit of a welcome section. I'll tell you a little bit about me. Part one, we're going to talk about what was revealed in terms of the NFT Cloud at Dreamforce 22. And then part two, hopefully we have time for that, is just to give a basic overview on the basics of blockchain. And then the favorite part, which is the NFT giveaway. Excellent. Okay, and let me just double check that I'm still recording here. 1 second. Excellent. Okay. Okay. So always doing things live. It's always a pain, isn't it? Okay. Yep. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm an ex-Londoner, which now I live in Spain. I've been a Salesforce consultant since 2006, 5-time certified. My industry experience, present is in financial services, KYC, AFC, this is the anti-financial crime part of financial services. I've also worked in government, utilities, retail, telecoms, automotive, gaming, and also consulting. I've been a blockchain enthusiast since 2017. I'm a certified blockchain and NFT professional. I am a member of 101 Blockchains and also a member of Women in Blockchain Talks. And after hours, I'm a mother of dragons, not real dragons, but my twin boys, which are dragons. And I also create music when I have time as well. Okay. So let's get into it then. So Dreamforce 2022 in the NFT Cloud. Did any of you get a chance to go out to the Dreamforce? Some of you have, some of you haven't. I didn't get the opportunity to do it.
Just virtually.
Just virtually, yeah, same here, virtual. So what was revealed? So at a high level view, they discussed that the NFT Cloud is providing capabilities to mint, manage, and sell NFTs. And it will bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 with a full 360-degree of visibility. Also a strong focus on trust and sustainability as well. So I'm going to break this down, and you might see the little emoji there. And those are really kind of like my thoughts and questions to kind of what was revealed there. So core functionality is the main thing in the NFT Cloud. So that's going to be declarative, and that's clicks and not code. So I think that's ideal for companies who want to adopt NFT in their business, but do not have the tech skills in-house. And my questions are wondering if the options of declarative use runs out, surely code would be the next best thing, you would think, you know, a little bit of Apex never does any harm, in my opinion. And then the second point here we've got here is virtual collections. So stating the ability to obviously mint and sell as a collection as well as one-offs. So if some of you are familiar with the way that NFT marketplaces work, like Rarible or OpenSea, you can either mint, sell, or buy one-off pieces of art or whatever it may be, or you can buy a collection or an NFT that's part of the collection. So this is interesting here on how they would do it. And the questions here are like, will the setup of virtual collections be similar to how we use products and price books? You know, if we're familiar with that option, you know, can we set up different, different collections, different prices? I'm assuming that would be the possibility. Will there be options as well to either, for the actual buyer to either buy now or auction, you know, with a starting bid? Of course, as a seller or as the customer, sorry, as the client with the NFT, hopefully there will be an option to do so. Airdrop functionality, no idea whether or not they would have this. I think that would be a very useful, feature to have, especially if you're going to launch a virtual collection and track it through Salesforce's campaign functionality or using the Marketing Cloud. Also be interested to know how gas fees work. So gas fees are normally associated for when, you know, you're actually selling an NFT. The buyer has the option, I know for once in Rarible, that you can actually pay for that gas fee while you're placing your NFT on the marketplace platform, or you can defer it where the buyer will actually pay that gas fee when they're purchasing the NFT. And another question is about the ability of adding a utility behind it. So for those of you who don't know, NFT utilities they're like perks, so redeemable perks that owners can add to their NFT. So let's just say, argument's sake, there is a NFT of a famous football team, okay? So let's just say, okay, Barcelona, not that I support them, you know, but just to say that if you buy a Cristiano Ronaldo NFT, perhaps the utility behind that would be that you would get maybe 50% off a Barcelona FC season ticket. Because nowadays, I think a lot of buyers are being cognizant on what they're actually buying in terms of NFTs. When they came out, NFTs seemed to be a lot of cartoon apes or whatever was the going thing at that time. But I think people are really being clued up and they're really savvy, because when you're purchasing an NFT, you want to get something out of it. You just need something extra out of it. What NFT is going to give you the value? So that's an important thing, because if you're working with a client or your own business and you want to launch an NFT, also think about the utility behind it. What sort of added value are you giving to that buyer if they were to purchase an NFT? And also a question I have there is, will there be seamless use with campaigns, the campaign functionality? So that'd be very useful as well. Especially, say, for instance, you take the whole sales pipeline in the workflow. If you've got a campaign and you're marketing NFT campaign, you would like to see how many leads would come through and how many of those leads would be converted into a contact company and an opportunity. That would be useful information as well. Okay. And the next bit is trust and security. Obviously, trust is also number one on Salesforce's, list. Really important pillar of the Salesforce framework here. So they mentioned that NFT sales will only be on first-party marketplaces. So let's just say, argument's sake, Nike adopts the Salesforce NFT, then the NFT marketplace would be within the Nike ecosystem or the Nike website. So therefore, it's a first-party marketplace. It's a good idea because it's actually a single source of truth for the customers. And like I mentioned, this should fit nicely with Marketing Cloud, also loyalty management. And think about the use case of an NFT loyalty platform. It wasn't that long ago that Starbucks announced their NFT loyalty program. I think it's called Odyssey. From that on, they also mentioned built-in auditing capabilities. So audited and written smart contracts to mitigate fraud. For those of you who don't know smart contracts, think of it, I guess if you put an example of Salesforce terms, smart contracts are kind of like that logic, that business logic that kicks in between a buyer and a seller. It's the terms and conditions which are automatically executed. So I'm assuming there would be an ability to test that smart contract, find any bugs, or edit the contract prior to finalizing. Like outside of the Salesforce ecosystem when building smart contracts, if you need to make an edit to a smart contract, you would have to kind of create a new smart contract for some blockchains. So my questions there, yeah, will we have the ability to test it, find the bugs, and edit prior to finalizing? And will the smart contract framework be compliant in the event of external audit visits? Because there will be no doubt auditors that will come in and check things, especially thinking, say in the use case of financial services company, that they decide to probably tokenize their assets via an NFT platform. I'm pretty sure auditors would like to, check that everything's right. And I think we'll see more and more of auditors focusing on smart contract auditing for those who have adopted blockchain. And built-in fraud and bot protection. So this sounds like a possible partnership with a trusted third-party vendor. Maybe we will start to see proof of humanity capabilities. So I don't know if some of you have actually either purchased anything on NFT marketplaces or redeemed any POAP tokens. They're called proof of attendance protocol tokens. There are these little kind of CAPTCHA type of mechanisms where they want to prove you're human rather than proving that you're not a robot. So proof of humanity capabilities, they're called. Okay. This is an interesting one. Risk or activity that can prevent illicit activity. So here I'm kind of assuming there's a partnership with a third-party provider. I would like to know a little bit more about this. Could this be perhaps a light touch KYC process behind it? Because if there's a risk score, that risk score is associated to a person, an individual, that individual is associated to a wallet of some sort, a public ID. Be interested to know how they do that. Also, there's a capability to block or freeze wallets. So I'm assuming that the customer's public wallet would be stored some way, in a safe way, in Salesforce to control this. Perhaps, I don't know. And it would be good to know which digital wallets will be compatible with the NFT Cloud. Could we use MetaMask, perhaps? They also mention about configurable privacy and security control, which is role-based access. So my question here would be, how would the business private key be managed and who holds it? This is an interesting question. And is it automatically generated when the NFT Cloud is purchased or goes live? Because obviously if you're going to be selling NFTs, you're going to have some sort of private key, I would assume, behind it. So I'd be really anxious to get my hands on when it's out and released and everything, on the technical documentation on that. Sustainability. So this is another big topic here. So the NFT Cloud will only use energy-efficient blockchains based on proof of stake. So that includes blockchains, which are Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, or Cardano. So they haven't mentioned exactly which energy-efficient blockchains will be used, but kind of guessing it's going to be probably Ethereum, perhaps. But let's see what they say when more details are released. Also, carbon emission calculation. So based on NFTs, NFT collections, companies can calculate the emissions and offset it by the new net zero marketplace. That's a new process or that they have, campaign they have. So it's nearly been about 6 months since net zero was launched. And I think it will take some time to see the benefits of this initiative, but I think definitely a step in the right direction, personally. And also the capability of planet-friendly royalties. So when NFTs are being sold, they have primary and secondary royalty process. So in terms of the Salesforce NFT Cloud, primary and secondary NFT sales can be split to a net zero charity. So you could have your primary sales going to, let's see, Save in the Forest, or you can have the secondary royalties going to maybe building a school in a particular area of the world. Perhaps. I don't know all the net zero charities that are within the Salesforce initiative there, but only assume that would be the case. Also, net zero is only available for US customers at present. I mean, so really, that was revealed from what I have seen through the Dreamforce live streaming events. And I think that's great stuff, but I have more questions, and probably you all have more questions as well. I think about analytics. Can Genie be used for this? Workflows, I shouldn't say workflows because they're being phased out. Flow management, I'm hoping that it'll be compatible with that. Also about how transactions will work. Event polling, is that going to be an option? Will we also have the ability to customize and design NFTs, perhaps a design studio? Can attributes be assigned to NFTs? So attributes, for those of you who may be familiar with CryptoKitties, many, many years ago, I'm one of those who still have a CryptoKitty. It was it was one of the first Ethereum kind of projects based in Web3, where you would purchase a cat, and then you had the ability to breed it with another cat, and then they would mix attributes and come up with another crazy cat. And these attributes in this example could affect the base color, the type of the eyes, the mouth, etc. So my question here is, would we be able to assign attributes to an NFT? Also, what will the price be? That's a very important factor here. Whether or not we can have dev sandbox access. In the number one question, when is it available? Totally, when is it available? So at the moment, it's currently in pilot, but from what I'm hearing, the tentative ETA will be Q1 2023. So if we bear in mind this is October now, it's not that far around the corner, but that's kind of the ETA that I'm hearing on this one. So I'm going to take a pause here, and I'm going to open up for any questions. Sharing there. Okay, are there any questions that anyone has before we go to the second part? Let me have a look in the chat. Okay. Okay, yes, Jonathan, yeah, definitely glad to see the sustainability piece as well. Yep, Kinga, that is soon. Yep, looking forward indeed. I'm just hoping that we can get sandbox access. Just checking the Q&A session. Let's see. I'll open that up, the Q&A, just in case there's any questions that may come up. Okay, no questions from Alexandra. Shunsuke, in Japan, the number of NFT users or wallet owners is said to be around 10,000, which is still very small. Interesting there. It's an interesting fact there. I wonder why that would be.
Spain. How many users in Spain?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't know that number, but I did see a survey, I think of the top 50 European countries that have adopted cryptocurrency, and Spain is number 6 on that list. Germany is number 1, believe it or not.
Oh.
So interesting facts there, but I think when people start to realize and start seeing the real usage behind NFTs, then I think the adoption will go up indeed. Yeah, and also it has to be the process has to be user friendly as well, because at the moment it's still a little bit fiddly. I think for those who are tech savvy, find it a lot easier, but for those who are new to this, they might be put off with having a digital wallet on that. But time will tell on that one. Okay. Pratap, so is there a framework developed yet and overall architecture of how it works? I'm pretty sure there is, Pratap, but I don't think any of that information has been released for the general public. I'm hoping that once the pilot is finished and it's on GA, general release, then we can start seeing some technical architecture on that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to move on to the part then. Okay. Start sharing again. Okay. It just came up there. Okay, let's go. Okay, so on to part 2, which is the basics of blockchain. I thought would be this would be very useful to actually kind of cover this. For those of you who probably do know it, then maybe this is an ideal for maybe a refresher, but it's just very basic for those who are not too familiar with the blockchain. Okay, so quick overview. It's a cryptographically secure, shared, distributed ledger. So these transactions are mutable, and they're written on the chain's distributed ledger on distributed nodes. So examples here, which I'll get into in a minute. It's also a decentralized database which stores information in forms of transactions, tamper-proof ledger of value, where trust is at the center and it essentially removes intermediaries, and it can be either private, public, or hybrid. So intermediaries, so think about your bank. So let's just say, for instance, if I wanted to send some money to Kinga, and through that intermediary would be a bank, so it would probably maybe take 1 or 2 days for that money to be received by Kinga. And during that time, obviously the bank is sitting on it, making a little bit of interest, and might charge me a fee for sending it to Kinga, or even might charge her a fee just for her receiving it. So removing that intermediary in terms of that payment, and let's just say, for example, Bitcoin, I could send, if I had any, some Bitcoin to Kinga, and Kinga would receive it within a matter of, depending on the traffic, could be within an hour or so. So basically, that's a straightforward transaction. I mean, I would still have to pay a gas fee, but still, I wouldn't be paying that much, perhaps, if I was going through a bank. And when we look on the right-hand side here, we've got an example of a centralized framework, which would be that bank. So you would have the bank here with that ledger of all the transactions. And then you would have, let's say that's me and that's Kinga. We both have, the ledger, the record of that transaction, and the final one would be in the bank. Okay. When you look at a decentralized framework, in this example with Bitcoin, when I'm sending that transaction or that payment to Kinga, we have nodes which are scattered around this decentralized framework, and these nodes have a validator. And these validators, depending on the type of validation, which I'll get into proof of stake and proof of work a little bit in a minute, will basically do some number crunching and verify that transaction. So when that transaction is approved, then every validator here will get the copy of that transaction. So everyone's ledger is updated. Okay. Also, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and tokens often cause confusion. So blockchain is a technology platform that enables applications. So think of Ethereum blockchain, Solana, and Polygon blockchains. Cryptocurrency is the electronic currency to transfer value from a buyer to seller. So you've got Bitcoin, and yes, you do have Ethereum as well. And then you have tokens, which is similar to a membership fee to pay for service on the blockchain platform. So that's Ethereum as well, and something called BAT tokens. So they're called basic attention tokens. It's just another example I pulled up. These tokens are associated to a browser called the Brave browser. I don't know if any of you have seen or heard about it. It's from the makers of Firefox. And basically, you have the option to just restrict pop-up and ads while you're using the browser. But if you don't mind seeing an ad or two, then they would pay you in BAT tokens, which are basic attention tokens. So their tokens is paying you for a service. Same with kind of Ethereum, because when you're using the Ethereum blockchain, you're going to have to pay a little bit of ETH to make that transaction. Okay. And when we look at how transactions get into the blockchain, let's have a look at this diagram here on the left-hand side. So in that use case, when I'm transferring, funds to Kinga, so a transaction is requested and authenticated using, the digital wallet. We're not exchanging. Kinga and I would not exchange private keys. That's not how it works. So for those of you, you never share your private key with anybody. That is yours when it comes to digital wallets. So a transaction is requested and authenticated, and then a block, monitors up to switch off, a block representing that transaction is created, and then the block is sent to every node, so participants in that network. And nodes validate the transactions. So when I talked about validation earlier and consensus mechanisms, this is kind of where these differences between proof of work versus proof of stake come in. So some blockchains have proof of stake, some of them have proof of work, and some others have different consensus mechanisms. So example here, just really quickly between POW and POS. In the beginning here, with proof of work, to add each block to the chain, miners must compete to solve a difficult puzzle using their computer's processing power. So a couple years ago, you heard about mining rigs, Bitcoin mining rigs. with people just run out and just get a whole lot, not run out, but people with money who just buy loads and loads and loads of computers to really crunch those numbers. Because if you solve that puzzle, then they would be rewarded for validating that transaction. So when it first started off with Bitcoin, I think the miners were getting something ridiculous like 12 to 13 Bitcoin per transaction if they were solving it, okay? Now with proof of stake, there's no competition on the block, okay? So the creator is chosen by an algorithm based on the user's stake. So the user will put some sort of stake up, an ante. And there won't be a reward for making the block, but the block creator takes a transaction fee, okay? In terms of malicious activity, okay, there's always someone that's going to try to break things, but in terms of proof of work, in order to add a malicious block to really cause the whole thing to crash, you'd have to have computer more powerful than 51% of the network, and that's pretty rare. And in terms of proof of stake, in order to add a malicious block, you'd have to own 51% of all the cryptocurrency on the network. In terms of energy efficiency, proof of stake is the winner there. Hence, that's why Salesforce NFT Cloud will only work with proof of stake blockchains for its energy efficiency. So let's go back to this diagram on the left here. So after the nodes have, validated that transaction, and then this example, this is proof of work here. So they will receive a reward for the proof of work in cryptocurrency. And then that block is added to the existing blockchain. And then the update is distributed across the network, and then the transaction is complete. And this is just, I thought I'd bring this up because this is quite a good use case for blockchain. In this example, this is like a food supply chain, source to fork, where you've got the blockchain here, and you've got the process between a certified organic supplier in this use case to a certified product retailer, and the end customer that has that trust and security that their product is organic. So by digitizing the supply chain process, this permission blockchain can act as an additional layer to any IT infrastructure. So it would be an end-to-end transaction where quality checks can be verified and added to the blockchain. And physical information, workflows from trusted, certified suppliers, distributors, wholesalers, etc., can be digitized and tracked. Financial workflows such as invoice, credit, and returns process can be digitized, and processes can be streamlined, and that would be supported by smart contracts. Remember the smart contract, the kind of business logic that underpins things. Product packaging can include digital certificates of authenticity, which can provide the customer transparency of that source to fork, ensuring that the label certifies a truly organic product of best quality. Real-time information can be accessed, so that's ideal for reporting and monitoring purposes. And as I mentioned before, implementing business logic via smart contracts can be used to execute or trigger workflows automatically. Trusted partners, such as suppliers, distributors, and retailers, can be connected via API feeds as well. So you can see how that flow goes with information passing between and supplier, information flow of purchase orders, shipping departure, the financial flow of invoice, credit note, bill of landing, and quality checks of raw materials, semi-finished goods, and finished goods as well. So imagine having that transparency as a customer. So when you're buying something that's organic, you're scanning that QR code, and because of these quality checks, you're actually getting something that's organic. Okay. And that's just one use case that I thought I'd share with you all. Okay. And in terms of how do NFTs work on the blockchain? So as you know, they are stored on the blockchain. Normally held on the Ethereum blockchain. However, there are others, like I mentioned before, Polygon, Hedera, Solana. And as I said earlier, there are a collection of digital objects that represent tangible or intangible elements. So you can have a NFT, which is a digital asset. You can have an NFT, which is a digital representing a physical asset. And you can have an NFT that's backed by a utility, which I mentioned earlier. And NFTs can be bought and sold using a digital wallet, like MetaMask. So in this example here again, you've got the blockchain, your NFT, which also has the unique ID, as well as in this example, digital art. So the buying and selling process, you've got in between that smart contract, that business logic, which is self-executing with the terms and conditions between buyer and seller, information about the royalties of the primary sales, royalties on secondary sales. And when you hear the term minting, well, minting really is the NFT converting, verifying, and registering the proof of ownership on that particular public ledger. And I'm going to pause there for any questions. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay. Wow, about 770,000 NFT holders in South Africa with 60 million population. That's from Tristan. Okay, yeah, Jonathan, definitely interesting to see the split and difference across countries. So Tristan, you also you sent a link here, Fashion United UK. Okay, what's that? Yep, Scotch soda. That was one of the examples that they brought up on in the Dreamforce event. That was a cool thing, and I missed out on the opportunity to sign up on an NFT there. But what they did there looks super cool. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. Right, so I guess what's next on the agenda is, just share again. Oh, is the NFT giveaway. Okay, so you need to get your phones ready for this one. Okay, so every attendee in this call will be gifted a POAP. Now that's another type of NFT token. So that stands for Proof of Attendance token. So there are unique tokens and collectibles that are given to commemorate a virtual or in-person event. So when you're claiming your token, you also have the choice to mint the blockchain and store it in your digital wallet. So for those of you who attended my session hosted by Women in Tech Madrid event, Kinga, I know that you were there. You have the ability to mint that special POAP to the blockchain to your wallet. Okay, and the process is free and it is sustainable. So how we're going to do this? So I'm going to show you a QR code very shortly. And once you take a picture of it or you use a QR code scanning app, then you'll need to register with an email address because this is used to link your token to prove your ownership. And once you've done it, hey, you've just claimed your first, or maybe not your first POAP NFT. So please show off your shiny badge token and you know, spread the word on Twitter, LinkedIn. Really would appreciate it. And for better experience as well, you can download the official POAP app on the App Store for Apple devices or Google Play, and that's recommended for best experience because you get to see what the token actually does and the details behind it as well. Okay, And just a note here, so if you wish to permanently mint your token and store it on the Ethereum blockchain, you'll need your email and the address of your wallet, and more info can be found on POAP XYZ. Okay, so let's get ready. Just have to get this up here, hold on. Okay. Right, I'm going to there, we can see it. And there you go. Just going to quickly close my door before the kids get in, so I keep scanning that. Okay, I see. Okay, it's good real time here. You can see. Feel free to ask any questions during this process too. I'm just going to check the attendees here, so 1 second. What we got here? So we got 10. Okay. All right, that's fine. There's probably someone else there. Let's do it again. There you go. Okay, so just want to double check, has everyone scanned? Has anyone not scanned? Okay, Kinga, you have it. Shunsuke, excellent. Pratap, Jonathan. Okay, good, good, good. Excellent. Got it, Pratap. Excellent. That is great. That is great. Super. So, just to kind of wrap it off. So if you want to know more about blockchain, NFTs, and Web3, please join the Salesforce Trailblazer Community if you haven't done so already. And if you had a great time, tweet and share your experience. We've got a new Twitter handle, which is SFBB Tweets. And please don't forget to complete the survey, because this is something that I would like to grow. In fact, I did miss a slide earlier, which is very important. It is about the aim of this group. So the aim of this group is to collaborate, educate, empower, and share knowledge about the Salesforce NFT Cloud in the world of blockchain Web3, grow into a global community of Salesforce NFT Cloud experts, and harness the power of Salesforce NFT Cloud and deliver innovative projects to existing and new Salesforce customers. So that's really the goal in this group. You know, we all know Salesforce, and some of us may have more experience than others, but this is for everyone at all levels of knowledge. Let's take advantage of this new technology that we can all grow together on this adventure. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, let's see, Jonathan, what do you see as the next step with NFT Cloud? Oh, that's a good question. Well, I see that with the NFT Cloud, they'll probably take that step and go maybe a little bit further, and those NFTs could be utilized in the metaverse, perhaps. I'm hoping that the NFT cloud will be scalable as well, because I think we've only just seen the beginning of NFT capabilities as well. So I think the possibilities are unlimited, but it depends on what they're wanting to do in the platform. Because I remember when they released the news about the BlockCHAIN cloud many years ago, which I was trying to get on a pilot of, and I couldn't, which that I don't think that went down too well. I'm just hoping that, and it sounds like it will be a success, but knowing Salesforce, they'll always be one step ahead. One thing I hope they do is, I hope they make the offering and the price, the entry price, reasonable, because I think this is an excellent opportunity for small businesses to not only use the CRM side of Salesforce, but also use the NFT side. Because then you're catering for those small businesses who have a website that are just signing up to Shopify, so they have their products with that NFT capability. So I'm hoping it would be a very user-friendly price point. Okay. Kinga, can we talk about the metaverse as well in the group? I'm interested in Decentraland-related topics. Yeah, I think in terms of metaverse, we could definitely do a session on that. It's very interesting, metaverse. A lot of people are saying in the blockchain community, say, well, metaverse is just a thing, it doesn't really exist. You know, it's a lot of hype around it. I've been seeing things, the actual login users for Decentraland, and I think it was something like about 11,000 or 8,000 users that are actually using Decentraland. I think it's still in the early stages as well, especially with the graphics. Some of the graphics I've seen, you've only seen the top half of people and the missing legs. So it's still early days, but definitely we can do a topic on metaverse. And Shunsuke, NFT is way more fun to use these participation prizes. Yeah, indeed, indeed. And I'm hoping, and this is what I'm working on, that with the POAP tokens that we'll be giving away during these events, these virtual events, I would like to see it redeemable towards Salesforce swag, because that would be super cool. Because then, you know, you're providing a utility around. Imagine, so you attended 5 events, and all of a sudden, you know, you're gifted with, you know, a Salesforce hoodie, for argument's sake. So these are kind of things that I'm trying to work behind the scenes with, you know, the Salesforce team to see how we can really embrace these pull-out tokens. Kinga, okay, well, still a lot of businesses are going into that topic, yeah. Ernst Young, Samsung, DKNY, etc., are making events there. Yep, I guess it may develop more in the future. Yeah, you're totally right, totally right. And especially in the fashion industry as well. Fashion, music. Music is one that I'm really interested in, because that means it's going to, you'll have independent artists that will be autonomous. So you wouldn't have to pay all that money to a record company, a publicist, the marketing, because for those of you who may not know, when it comes to music, when you get a record deal, you pay really a lot. You pay for your tour, you pay for your marketing, you pay for the publishing, you pay for a lot. So the royalties that you get behind it, unless you're making big, big money, you know, it's going to take a while for you to do it. Whereas independent artists need supports. Yeah.
I've already seen artists play in Decentraland. Like, they were doing streams. Those were small artists that wanted to just, you know, grow their brand. So it's already working. And I just wanted to mention that soon there will be a music festival in Decentraland. So there will be the application of the music industry, with the DJs coming, with the artists coming, and it's possible to see it on a big scale, because like there's DJ events every day, but like the big music festival may be something interesting. I'm just curious about it, so, you know, just spreading the word.
No, that sounds good. That sounds good. There's so many possibilities there. And let's see. So, ahora, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Next meeting. Yeah. Well, I would like to do it in next month in November, towards the end of November. That's what I would like to do. Just before people kind of break off for the holiday season. So in terms of topics, I was thinking we could either probably discuss something about smart contracts, we could do the metaverse. I'm kind of like open to things. So I would like to know from, all of you, kind of like a general consensus, if there's something that we can, something that you would like to talk about or go into more. Okay, yes, and artists are creating experiences in the sandbox. It's a goal for different metaverses. Is the goal for different metaverses to also be connected at some point? Well, that's a very good question, because at some point there will have to be some sort of connection between, because it has to, how should I say? Let's just say, for instance, this use case. That's one thing that I thought about in this use case. So, but bullying, cyberbullying and harassment is a big problem in the metaverse, believe it or not. So imagine if you had a way that you could have a governing body of, I'd say, security, or probably some sort of metaverse best practices. I don't know, like a Samaritan type of, type of thing, that they can interact with different metaverses. I think eventually we will go down that route. Let's see. Okay, so, all right, what did I meet there? Yes, thank you. This is very enjoyable. Thank you, Jonathan, for showing up. Great to meet you. And let's see, Shunsuke, we recently had an app exchange event on the metaverse app. CCOM, cool. I didn't know about that. That's super. Let me write that down. And hey, we might, I wonder if we can just do a virtual event in the metaverse. That would be super cool. That would be the first Salesforce Trailblazer community in the metaverse, perhaps. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, you should do that for sure. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Tristan. So I know we're over a minute. Shunsuke, thank you very much, especially you, for staying up, that late. I mean, if it's something that in the community, the Japan community, if I can accommodate a more friendly time, let me know. I'm happy to wake up early morning my time to present to, the Japan community, and especially for others if you're in different locations. I'm flexible. Let's do this, because this is going to be an exciting adventure. Excellent. So thank you all for joining, and see you at our next event, which will be advertised shortly. And all take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. I see you now, Tristan. Okay.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Seth,
Thank
Oscar,
you.
see everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Hi, good morning.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
Good morning. Bye-bye. Take care.